Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Rubenstein. Today is March 3rd, 2025, and this is the live daily briefing of the Israeli Citizen Spokesperson's Office. The ceasefire with Hamas is over. Hamas continues to hold hostages, and Hamas continues to be the government of Gaza. We're at an impasse. Israel is demanding that Hamas free the hostages and give up power in Gaza. Hamas is insisting that it keep hostages and stay in power in Gaza. Hamas is already sending men to probe Israel's defenses. Yesterday, the Israeli Air Force targeted 2 men in Gaza who approached and threatened Israeli soldiers. Today, the IDF struck a vessel from Gaza that passed a boundary off the coast of Gaza. Hamas wants to test Israel's defenses in order to see what it can get away with. Even now, Israel is willing to give diplomacy a chance. Israel has accepted the plan of President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, to extend the temporary ceasefire by 50 days. That time period includes Ramadan and Passover. During that time, negotiations can continue regarding the conditions for ending the war in Gaza. According to the Witkoff plan, half of the hostages will be released right away. The other half will be released if Israel and Hamas reach a ceasefire agreement that will last permanently. Hamas has rejected this plan, of course, because it requires Hamas to give up power. Hamas insists that Israel withdraw completely from Gaza and accept a ceasefire that leaves Hamas's military intact. In the meantime, Israel has announced that it will halt the shipment of food and supplies to the Hamas government of Gaza until the Hamas government of Gaza releases the hostages that the Hamas government of Gaza has been torturing and starving for nearly 17 months. Nobody knows what will happen next. Also this morning, a Druze citizen of Israel stabbed 5 people in the city of Haifa, killing an Israeli man in his 60s and wounding 4 others. The assailant was shot dead at the scene. It's very rare to hear of such an attack from a Druze citizen of Israel. The Druze community in Israel is an integral part of Israeli society, and its members serve in combat roles in Israel's security forces. We will have to wait and learn more about what happened. I will end with some sad news. I was very sad to hear the news that Ambassador Dore Gold died at the age of 71. Dore Gold was one of Israel's most capable, intelligent, effective, and influential diplomats. He never sought credit for his many achievements. Since the 1990s, he was intimately involved in Israeli-Palestinian negotiations, but he never published a memoir that told his side of the story. Throughout his career, he insisted on Israel's right to defensible borders. He sounded the alarm about Iran's military nuclear program. He emphasized the importance of Jerusalem for the security of Israel and all of humanity. He explained how the United Nations was fueling global chaos. He helped strengthen Israel's ties with Saudi Arabia, many years after he wrote a book about how Saudi Arabia was a driving force behind global jihad. He believed that change was possible, including with Saudi Arabia, and that the Middle East could have a better future. He helped lay the groundwork for the Abraham Accords. Dore Gold was Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, a longtime advisor to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and he was a mentor to me. When I was a college student trying to make sense of Israel and the Middle East, I discovered Dore Gold. I'm glad I did. His writing was clear, precise, and well-researched. He said what needed to be said, and nothing more. When I studied at Hebrew University 2 decades ago, I interned at the organization where Dory was president, the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs. I was responsible for studying the changing trends on the internet and explaining to Dory and his staff the potential of blogs. This was a time when only a few college students were on Facebook, and there was no such thing as a news feed or a like button. Many years later, after I moved to Israel, I worked again with Dory and published a number of studies on Israeli security, diplomacy, and international law, and continued to offer my advice on how to navigate the growth of social media. I learned an enormous amount from Dory. He had an encyclopedic memory and never needed to Google anything. It's up to all of us to continue his life's work of strengthening Israel's security. That means we must focus on key principles and not be distracted by the politics of the day. It means we must build relationships and be open to discussions with people of all backgrounds. And it means we must never give up hope that a strong Israel that insists on its critical interests can live in peace with all of its neighbors. May Dore Gold's memory be a blessing. Thank you all for watching. This was the live daily briefing of the Israeli Citizen Spokesperson's Office. I encourage you to keep following us on our social media platforms. We'll be back live tomorrow, 3 p.m. Israel time, 8 a.m. on the East Coast. Have a lovely day.